Okay, it is 7:05 p.m. on Tuesday, June 14th, and I'll call this special meeting of council to order. And the first order of business on the agenda is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please? Thanks. And a second. Any discussion?
Changes?
Yes.
If I may, with the mayor's blessing, add item number 3, new business. And I'll hold myself to 2 minutes all in, and there'll be 3 items. The first one is internship. The second one is Arts Council, Library, Historical, SOC, and Trailblazers. And the third is Parking Committee.
Fine, thank you. I'll just call the second one committees,
Committees.
as a shorthand,
And the third separate is parking.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? So all in favor?
So,
yeah, sorry.
Just add a basis for closing the meeting. 91 B's and Bob.
B for Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody got that? What is B, please, Peter?
Is individuals
Considered for awards.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So all in favor of the agenda as amended, thank you, and opposed, that carries. So Ron, new business.
Thank you. First one, internship. I sent an email to council and to the CAO today about an intern that we have that Helen seemed to have been responsible for. Duties not really clear to me, but the piece here is that, and when I saw Peter for a second this afternoon, it was obviously news to him on some of the issues. So really I'm doing a handoff of the intern to Peter. Nope.
No, Peter is shaking his head. I know nothing about this intern. I've read the email. This is whatever he's working on is not a municipal initiative. It's not the things that he's been working on are not things that are part of the municipality putting forward any kind of a website along these lines. He's not a municipal employee. He can't work for free. So these are not things that I'm able to take over. And I think we need to delve further into what exactly it is, because I'm not apprised of it.
How about we hold this and we'll do it at another time?
Well, fine. I mean, I guess the bottom line is, can you take the kid over? I don't even know if he's a kid.
No, he's not being paid. You can't do free internships. You can't not pay somebody. We can't not pay somebody.
Lots of employers do.
No.
Yes.
I don't think.
I can think of 10 dozen.
Law firms do it.
Yeah. Well, they get paid. They don't get paid much.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
But it's not the same thing and would require some investigation. But in any event, the things he's working on are not any municipal initiatives.
I don't even know what he's working on.
Well,
it's why don't we
Do we
pull
wanna-
out?
do we
Actually,
wanna
you've got
just-
the email as I do.
Okay, I don't want this
Okay,
to
so I
sort of
don't
get bigger
disagree.
than it needs to be. I can scarcely believe that the Lionsburg municipality can't use a free to very cheap resource, apparently technically skilled in databases.
Marketing, telecommunications, and technology.
Yeah.
the things that he's working on are not things that.
Well, let's stop those things and start some new things.
Okay,
Whatever they are.
Let's do some background work, and I'll have to look into it and consider whether there's anything that we can use them for, and look into the pay aspect of things. But yeah, at this time, I'm not in a position to deal with it tonight.
Tonight, fine, but certainly in the short to medium term, I'd like to
All
think.
right, so we've got
We've got a website, a building, we've got pictures to be taken. I mean, if you'd like me to.
All right, then, I tell you what, with everybody's blessing and nod of heads, to use Carl's expression, and I'll contact the intern tomorrow, say that we talked about it, it's news to the CAO, there are initiatives underway, and we'll be in touch with him within the week.
Yeah, I will perhaps bring this back to
Yep.
the council meeting next week.
Next Tuesday.
I don't know what council decision needs to be made on this guy, but okay.
Well, I guess it's relative manpower. I mean, he's near, I'm gonna guess he's within the last month of his internship. So even the one suggestion that I had heard from former Councillor Watterson, that he was willing to go door to door to get e-post addresses. So very low grade, but you know, it shows his enthusiasm. So I'll park it, as you say, and we have to move on.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Fine, so we'll do that by email, Peter, thank you. Again, from former Councillor Watterson, the Arts Council, Library, Historical Sock, and the Trailblazers, I propose in the interim with His Worship's blessing to take responsibility for those. The library has got issues we've talked about. The Arts Council, I'll talk about at the next meeting. The other two are quiet.
Do we need a resolution on that? I mean, it's,
Pretty soft.
yeah, it's, yeah, there's no real decision. If you're willing to put your hand up for those portfolios, thank you.
Done, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, which goes to the third one, Parking Committee. I'm proposing that as you sit on that, that you in fact spearhead that.
Yeah, okay.
Peter, your hand's up.
Yeah, Peter, you were going to say?
I was just going to say before we left the other one, if we should just have a resolution, just appoint Ron to these.
Okay,
roles.
Ron, make a motion.
Resolution to have Councillor McLaughlin as the council representative liaison for the Arts Council, Library, Historical Sock, and the Trailblazers.
Good, thank you. Second? All in favour? Opposed? That carries. Okay, good. Now, returning to the Parking Committee, that's a select committee of council that, as my best understanding of its terms of reference, it is done. It was required to produce a report, which we soft targeted to whenever it was produced. And as far as I know, by its terms of reference at least, the committee's done. It hasn't been formally dissolved by council. Does it need to be? Should it be?
Well, I think there's some clarifications required because, yes, by the terms of reference, its mandate has expired. However, we have a bunch of resolutions that were passed with respect to changes that have been initiated and which are sitting on our website, which include things that the Parking Committee was to continue work on, namely the most important being continuing to work on the designation of street types.
Yeah.
For all that work. And I don't know how far they've gotten, but that was something that they were going to continue working on. Further research be undertaken by the committee for a new design for resident decals for next year. We've got this year's. Committee undertake further research and formulate a proposal with detailed revenue and expense projections regarding metering for next budget cycle. Committee work with Marina to improve process by which they sell these passes and record the sales data, including a requirement of boat trailer counts.
This is all stuff that
so
would be
forth.
implemented for next season, right?
No, the working with the Marina was to take place ASAP, and Ruth Simons had offered to try and coordinate that with the Marina. I don't know how far she got with that, but I think she's looking for some clarification and some direction because of the mixed signals that there is no committee, so what's her authority to go and do that? And as well these other things in terms of further research on metering, but most importantly I think continuing the work on designation of street types.
Yeah, okay, well, as you may or may not know, I don't even know if council's seen the first draft of the parking plan, which did include definitions of street types, but not designation of which streets were which types. There were about 40 types, and they are 3-hour week time parking, all day paid parking, whatever they were. So type took on a special meaning within that particular plan. Yeah, I mean, I think that the committee's work as it stands now is done. I think, to my mind, their goal was to do the work, produce a survey, think through some of the challenges, review the signage that we had, even though it was largely going to be replaced, and produce a plan which actually sort of evolved into producing a few recommendations, many of which would have been implemented. My proposal is that the committee does get dissolved, and we start again. As I've said to council, what I would propose to do is dust off the draft of the plan that was turned into recommendations and produce a mayor's plan for council's consideration. The work has been done. The most important work that the committee did was the survey. the 240 something response survey. What do you think, Fred?
I don't know, I haven't really.
You haven't seen it. I know you haven't seen the plan.
I can comment.
Why don't we? That's a good point. Why don't we just table the what happens to the parking?
I think like
Thing.
I think like the internship, I think there's a little bit of delicacy with the residents.
Yes, there.
So that's the number one to me. The other stuff is gonna fall into place.
Yeah. Why don't I do this? Let's just hold it for now on what to do about the committee. I will circulate the current version of the draft to give you an understanding of what I believe needs to be tweaked to turn into a plan for next parking season.
But the village staff is continuing to execute on the stuff that they could.
On the
so
stuff that's
that
been
will
directed,
continue.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Peter, I think the only thing that is off your bailiwick is the liaison with the marina and the street scoping.
Yeah, that's not going to turn into anything this
Yeah,
year.
I'm not going to be street scoping.
Okay, so then, Carl, if you took those away with whatever you're doing, Peter, you've got the rest, we're done.
Okay, I think that's exactly right. What I suggest is put the parking on me, and I would suggest that we formally dissolve the committee.
Well, I mean, Helen was specifically asked to talk to you about this, to go to the next phase, if there was gonna be a next phase.
Yeah, certainly there needs to be a next phase because we haven't actually implemented anything except
Okay.
very few minor cosmetic issues. Peter's looked through the draft, so he knows more or less what I'm talking about. I know the rest of the council hasn't even seen the draft because that would have been not kosher.
Okay, it's yours.
Okay, so how should we do this, Peter?
Well, as I said, the terms of reference, by the terms of reference, it's expired, but I think just formally acknowledging or clarifying that that is the case.
And I will send thanks to the committee members.
Yeah, that would certainly be appropriate.
Okay, so I'll move that the parking plan committee is dissolved. Can I have a second? Is that a wow?
Wow. Second.
Okay, thanks. But what's your hesitation? This is the discussion portion.
I think it's the discussion portion. I think, what is my hesitation? Technically, they've come to the end of the road, I agree. So it's dissolved in the current mandate.
Current mandate, yeah. It may come to council's opinion that we reinstitute something that can actually produce.
I think.
You know, quite frankly, we ended up with a camel designed by a committee, a horse designed by a committee, and now we need to actually come up with
That all said,
choices.
the camel designers are our residents, they volunteered their time, so you've got.
And the work they did
task.
was, don't get me wrong, the work they did was excellent, and it is the basis for the parking plan.
Call a motion?
I'll call the question. All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So I will send my thanks to the committee. Okay, good. Thanks, Ron. So we'll move on to the next item, agenda item. Hello, you're just in time. Couldn't be better. Can I have a motion to close the meeting? Thank you. And a second?
Thank you, Mario. Done.
All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So the meeting's closed.
Motion to.
Okay, so we are now returned from closed meeting. It's 9:37, and we're back to the agenda of the special meeting of the council. Item 4, reporting out of closed portion of meeting. There's nothing to report, and the final item on the agenda is adjournment. Take a motion for adjournment and a second. All in favour? Opposed? That carries. Meeting adjourned at 9:38.